and let us all do we can to build a better future. Remember, folks, it's one big club and you ain't in it. It's a big club and you're not part of the system. And just remember, if you're rich, the laws of the land don't apply to you. When you donate to the two-party system, you're going to be protected. I want to pull up this little tweet. It's from Kim.com. Donate $100 million to Democrats by laundering U.S. aid to Ukraine back to the Democrats. Steal billions from FTX customers. Get protection from Democrats and instant bail in the biggest crypto fraud case in history. Fly home and play Leagues of Legends. Hey, look at that. Wow, that's some first class. Oh my goodness, that is actually some awesome first class seat right there. That has to be. Dude, that's a nice seat. Look at that. So, man, like, I totally scammed everyone, and then my mom and dad bailed me out, and now I'm going to be living in their basement for a while. And everyone is not mad at me, I guess. I got home scot-free. Look at this. Like, who took this photo and thought, I'm going to share this on social media? This looks like a good idea. So my mom and dad got me out of jail, and now I'm going to play Leagues of Legends now. Something I always wanted to do. Behold, justice in America. So let's talk about what's happening here. Well, this is a story that recently came out. Turns out, old Sammy's business partners are ready to turn on him. And again, the only difference between these two, you got Bernie Madoff and good old Sammy here. The difference is Bernie, not Bernie Sanders, Bernie Madoff. He's in jail. You see, the thing is, he stole from the rich. You know, I remember how he was vilified in 2008, right? I remember how he's vilified, right? He turned into this big old bad guy, right? The only thing is, he stole from rich people, which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny when you really think about it. It's funny when it happens to rich people. But this guy here, I mean, he was buying off politicians, Democrats, Republicans. Yes, he bought off Republicans too. $250 million bail. And he's out. He's back home with his mommy and daddy. Isn't that great, folks? Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. I know, controversial statement. What is democracy? Type 3 if you still have confidence in the justice system, that you know that we have responsible people who maintain justice in America. Type 4 if you don't. The stunning collapse of crypto's most prominent firms has quickly morphed into a legal battle pitching former executives and ex-romantic partners against one another. Last week, as FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried was being extradited to the United States from the Bahamas, two of his former business partners pleaded guilty to multiple charges of fraud and conspiracy. Caroline Ellison, the 28-year-old former CEO, again, how the hell did this happen? Like, look, I'm not saying that there aren't 28 smart people at 28. I know I was 28 at one point, but I mean, with crypto, I mean, Jesus, did she know what she was doing? Head of the crypto hedge fund, Alameda, apologized for before a federal judge in New York, saying that she and her former associates knowingly stole billions of dollars from customers of Bankman-Fried's FTX exchange and sought to cover it up, according to court transcripts. I'm truly sorry for what I did. I knew I was wrong, Ellison told the court. That's not how she sounds, by the way, but I've seen her photo. I don't know. Her voice sounds. I gave her a Muppet voice. Is that immature of me? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is. I need to be better. Hashtag Kit be better. Ellison told the court that Alameda had a virtually unlimited borrowing facility in FTX, and that she knew the exchange would need to use customer funds to finance loans to the hedge fund. She also agreed to keep the two firms' unusually close relationship hidden from investors and customers. From July through October, she told the court Ellison agreed with Bankman-Fried and others to provide materially misleading financial statements to Alameda's lenders. Now, again, $250 million bailout. He's out. Where the hell did he get all that money? Who? Where? Don't tell me his mom and dad did that. We covered it. $4 million they put in. Okay, $4 million. So that means there's $246 million that hasn't been really accounted. Where'd they get the rest of the money? Who gave them money? How? It's called our corrupt system. That's what happened. And repaired balance sheets that concealed the extent of Alameda's borrowing, according to transcripts from plea hearings held on December 19th and recently unsealed. Ellison has been charged with several criminal courts, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. She and Bankman-Fried were close business associates who briefly, God, two ugly people, briefly dated. You know what? I take that back. I'm sorry I called them ugly. Body positivity here at Hard Lens Media. But they're both kind of ugly. Ellison said she knew that FTX executives created an arrangement that permitted Alameda access to an unlimited line of credit without being required to post collateral or pay interest on negative balances, according to the transcript. Okay, I'm not going to do the Muppet voice. Come on, got to be professional. I understand that if Alameda's FTX accounts had significant negative balances in any particular currency, it meant that Alameda was borrowing funds that FTX customers had disposed into their exchange, Ellison said in court. Co-founder grants special privileges. Another associate, Gary Wang, FTX former chief technology officer, pleaded guilty to four courts of similar charges. Wang told the court that part of his role at FTX included making changes to the exchange's code that would grant Alameda special privileges on FTX. Between 2019 and 2020, as part of my employment at FTX, I was directed to and agreed to make certain changes to the platform's code, Wang said in the court. I executed those changes, which I knew would Alameda research special privileges on the FTX platform. I did so knowing that others were representing to investors and customers that Alameda had no such special privileges, and people were likely investing in and using FTX based in part of those misrepresentation. I knew what I was doing was wrong, he added. Again, so something tells me that his business partners are going to be put on the chopping block, and a good old Sammy is going to be safe playing League's of Legend. I'm very curious how this will all play out. I'm willing to bet he's going to be okay, but he'll like set up a Twitch channel and he'll just be streaming and playing video games for the rest of his life. And knowing that there's no justice in this world, he'll probably get a huge following on Twitch, because that's just the world we live in. He ain't gonna serve a day in jail. $250 million bail, and yet you have people in corporate media wondering, how did he pull it off? Corporate. He bought off the politicians. Wang pleaded guilty during a hearing that started at 11 a.m. on December 19th, and Allison did the same thing later that day, beginning around 4:30 p.m. as Sam Bankman-Fried remained in the Bahamas, according to court transcripts. Wang faces up to 50 years in prison in accordance with federal sentencing guidelines referenced in the court. Allison, that poor girl, she's going to be in there 110 years in prison for the several courts she's pleaded guilty to, per federal sentencing guidelines. Both are out on bail as negotiating their plea agreements. Sentencing for Ellison and Wang is scheduled for December 19th, 2023. Now, they're all home for the holidays. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that special? But I want to pull up some interesting videos here, stuff that caught my attention. One video that caught my attention was in December 18th, and I want to make all of you laugh. Because let's face it, let's have some comedy here. Here, a statement's being made by federal officials to tell people who got money from FTX to return the money back. That's right. Return the money back.
In illegal campaign contributions to be made to candidates and committees associated with both Democrats and Republicans. These contributions were disguised to look like they were coming from wealthy co-conspirators, when in fact, the contributions were funded by Alameda Research with stolen customer money. And all of this dirty money was used in service of Bankman-Fried's desire to buy bipartisan influence and impact the direction of public policy in Washington. To anyone who is watching this or hears about this prosecution, if you believe that you have been a victim of these schemes or you have information about the conduct that we've alleged in our indictment that we've unsealed today, please let us know. To any person.
Oh, if you put money in FTX, I'm so sorry. No, really, I am. I'm so sorry. That money's not coming back.
Entity or political campaign that has received stolen customer money, we ask that you work with us to return that money to the innocent victims.
I'm going to rewind that again. Let's show of hands. How many of those politicians or political entities are going to return back that money? You think they're going to return? They're going to be like, give what back? Wait, we got to give the money back? No, they're not going to do that. I'm going to play it again. That's the funniest part of this video right here.
We ask that you work with us to return that money to the innocent victims.
Hold on.
Entity or political campaign that is received to any person, entity, or political campaign that has received stolen customer money, we ask that you work with us to return that money to the innocent victims.
One more time.
Alleged in our indictment that we've unsealed today, please let us know. To any person, entity, or political campaign that has received stolen customer money, we ask that you work with us to return that money to the innocent victims.
Notice how he's looking at the camera. He's wondering if there's going to be like a red sniper dot put on his head. Like, oh, crap. I forgot. These politicians are corrupt. They're going to kill me. Yeah, we have a sick system, folks. But don't worry. There's more because it gets better, folks. Now, show of hands here. Show of hands. How many of you know of that person named Kevin O'Leary? You know, he's on that show Shark Tank. This is a sec. I wish I had the graphic. It's funny when it happens to them. Kevin O'Leary was against crypto until FTX came along, and gave him 15 million tokens to promote them. Now he's lost what was given to him and is playing the victim. The real victims are the millions of people that fell for the fraud he promoted. And this dude, you know, he always looks all tough on Shark Tank. And let's face it, you know, he's built it. I won't dismiss him. Yeah, he could be a smug SOB, but he built a career for himself. But it's funny when it happens to them. You know, honestly, I wish I got to tell FaZe to make me a graphic. It's funny when it happens to them. And I should have like politicians and business people, and like there should be like laughing icons in the background. I think that'd be a great. It's funny when it happens to them. So let's see what old Kevin has to say for himself.
The major loss of the balance sheet was basically a related transaction between two shareholders. And the only reason I brought it up is that sounds like a Madoff clawback to me. I mean, there's something wrong here.
Can I ask you, Kevin, because you made it sound like he used cash, he used money that was in various accounts.
By the way, I do want to acknowledge the live stream chat. Shout out to Eleanor. He's not rich enough to go after the kid. That's why he's whining. And also Jack Klugman, you bring up a good point. He didn't really lose Jack, but he lost the potential of that 15 million in tokens. And he's like, I want that money. Because, you know, let's face it, you know, it's never enough for these rich people to have all this power.
In order to do this, money that was in your account, for instance. But did Sam Bankman-Fried use FTT tokens to buy any part of that Binance stake back?
Great question.
By the way, shout out to Eleanor. Hey, Jack, this is how poor people feel. Yep.
Melissa, nobody knows. There's no records anymore. And that's the first place I'm sure John Ray is going to look. But was it cash? My bet is a lot of it was cash. We just simply.
By the way, just so you know, Kevin O'Leary actually did a segment for, I think it was CNBC at the time. This was in 2020 when he toured Dan Bilzerian's house, right? that Dan actually had to move out of, which is kind of funny. But there you go. Kevin, come on. Check into your facts, buddy.
Simply don't know. But the point is, let's move forward now to the week of November 6th when this company went bankrupt. Why in the world would a block trade like the one owned by CZ and or Binance be tweeted out saying, I have $550 million worth of FTT tokens I'm going to put to the market? You don't trade like that. You arrange a cross. You go and find buyers, you form a syndicate, and you clear market with a trade.
Well, that's in traditional finance, Kevin. This is decentralized, Wild West finance. So he didn't do that.
Well, Melissa, that's the whole point. And let me tell you something. My read of the Senate today, they're tired of this. They don't want to keep holding hearings every 6 months when the next crypto crap blows up. They're done with it. They're not happy cowboys.
No, here's the thing, buddy. We all know that the politicians took money from FTX. It's not that they're tired of it. They're not going to do anything about it, period. Simple as that. They won't. Why? Because they took the money. I want to play this last final segment here. It's from Fox News of all places. I know it's Fox News, but it's worthwhile to see because it's an illusion of an illusion. We're all being played here by the top 1%.
Well, there is a trick here, Tucker, and you put your finger on it. The New York Times incorrectly tweeted earlier this evening that he was released on $250 million bail. That is dead wrong. It is a bond because $250 million wasn't actually put up. It was just an equity interest in his parents' $4 million home. So it may have as well have been.
So it's like his business itself. It's totally fake.
Exactly. That's the whole point. The whole thing is a smokescreen. It is an optical illusion. And why did they do it? It's because it makes the prosecutors look good. It makes them look like they're being tough, making the highest possible bond in American history. Guess what? If he flees, it could have been $10 trillion. Nobody's putting up that money. And the whole thing is a story of smokescreens, from the do-good smokescreen of SBF and effective altruism and the good ESG scores, now to the prosecutors, just like SBF, pretending like they're participating in a modern Charles Dickens novel where everyone is a caricature of themselves, playing their own role. And this was all about today, the prosecutors puffing their chest at something that was an optical illusion all the way down.
So see, folks, that's the problem. We're seeing a play being presented before us. There will be no real accountability except behind closed doors, in the secret back rooms. That's where the real decisions will be made. What you're seeing right now being presented by the media, seen through the camera lens, is just a show to make sure that the people are somewhat entertained. $250 million bail. And yet he walked out, and now he's home with his mommy and daddy. Everyone had time to spend a good time with their loved ones for the Christmas weekend. How wonderful, how great, how stupendous. But the real sad truth is this. Unfortunately, there is no accountability. Unfortunately, if you buy into the corrupt system, you're going to be protected. It's a big club and you ain't in it. And if you vote Democrat or Republican, well, you're a very obedient sucker.